This poem references the Sierra Prietas, which are down by Flagstaff, Arizona, and it was written by a cowboy from down there named Gale Gardner in the early 20th century. And it was the most recited cowboy poem until Wallace McCrae wrote Reincarnation. It had some cowboy lingo in it, and Gale Gardner was particular. So there's a roe deer camp, which is a roundup camp, and there's Seago, which is a hemp rope, a riata, which is a leather rope, and then the rest of it you'll be able to figure out, I think. And this is called the Sierry Peats. Now, way up high in the Sierry Peats where the yaller pines grow tall, old Sandy Bob and Buster Jig had a roe deer camp last fall. Oh, they taken their horses and running irons and maybe a dog or two, and allow they'd brand all the long-eared calves that come within their view. And any dogie that flapped long ears and didn't bush up by a day got his long ears whittled and his old hide scorched in a most artistic way. Well, one fine day, old Sandy Bob thrown his Seago down. He says, "I'm sick of the smell of burning hair, and allows I'm a-going to town." So they saddled up and hit 'em a lope, for it weren't no sight of a ride, and them was the days when a buckaroo could oil up his insides. They starts her in at the Kentucky bar at the head of Whiskey Row and winds up down by the depot house, some 40 drinks below. Then they sits up, turns around, and goes her the other way. And to tell you the God-forsaken truth, them boys got stewed that day. Now, as they was riding back to town and packing a pretty good load, who should they meet but the devil himself, just a-prancing down the road. Says he, "You ornery cowboy skunks had better hunch your holes, for I've come up from hell's rim rock to gather in your souls." Says Sandy Bob, "Old devil be damned. We boys is kind of tight, but you ain't in a gathering in no cowboy souls without you get some kind of fight." So Sandy Bob taking his Seago, and he swung her quick and true and lapped her around the devil's horns and taking his dallies too. Now Buster Jig was a riata man with his gut line coiled up neat. He's shaking it out, built him a loop and lassoed the devil's hind feet. Then they stretched him out and tailed him down while the irons was getting hot. Then they cropped and swaller forked his ears and branded him up a lot. They pruned him with a dehorning saw, knotted his tail for a joke. Then they rid off and left him there, neck to a blackjack oak. So if you're ever up high in the Sierry Peats and you hear one hell of a wail, you'll know it's that devil a bellerin' about them knots tied in his tail.